you're in my domain. Got the whole crowd screaming out our name. It's a blowout, it's a hurricane. It's over before you know it. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights for the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the glory.
What is up, Summoners? Great morning to you all, and welcome dito sa 2018 LOL Varsity League Spring Term Group Stage. And of course, happy Mother's Day, by the way, sa lahat ng mga nanay na, kung may mga Summoners na nanay dyan, kung may nanonood man. Of course, we're gonna be your casters for our Game 1 ngayon, Arctic at your service. And of course, with me is Chisto. Pero bago natin pag-usapan itong maging Game 1 natin para sa Week 2, pag-usapan muna natin yung mga kaganapan nitong opening week natin for the LVL.
Yeah, of course. Sobrang nag-enjoy akong panoorin yung games last week nung LVL. Of course, a lot of things happened, and one thing I really like to point out is yung return ng FEU-IT into the LVL. Sobrang ganda nung naging week 1 performance nila compared sa previous term where they really showed how much they've improved over the course of the break in between two terms. And I think you as well, Arctic, you were impressed with their play.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something that you wouldn't really expect of a team that placed in the mid ranks as of the last term. Pero tingnan mo natin yung standings before we go on further about the previous week. So Bulacan State University as well as FEU-IT gonna be sitting comfortably in first. Actually, this is a tie for first, and then of course we still have a lot more games up. UST only playing one game. We could see a potential rank up later on during the next weeks to come. So still a lot of more games to be played overall. So what you guys are seeing here is mostly just like one...
Isang linggo pa lang nakalipas.
Still a lot of weeks to happen. So there's a lot that could still change here. But of course, interesting to note here, Chisto, is while we have teams like Bulacan State University who had a fantastic debut during their first week, coming off the LCL as North Conference champions, and definitely on the right foot for the LVL. But at the same time, coming at the bottom, one of the bigger surprises is AMA University opening their LVL spring term with a 0-2. So
yeah, I think sobrang apparent na meron nga silang problems internally as a team during that performance because it looks like they were really struggling during that first week. But hopefully, moving forward, kaya nilang mag-bounce back dito. But yeah, we talked about the new teams, right? Bulacan State University, they had a great debut for the LVL, starting their week 2-0. Now, today as well, we get to see a debut of another new team coming into this term, Adamson University Penguin Authority. They have 3 games today, so tignan natin, kaya ba nilang i-match yung nagawa ng Bulso nung kanilang first week performance?
Yeah, interesting way to start their LVL debut. Just 3 games right off the bat. So, especially, gaya nga itong game 1 natin, they're gonna be facing FEU-IT. So, they're basically facing a team with probably one of the best momentums heading into this week 2 right here, aside from Bulacan State University, of course. But
I do believe Aldo are also facing Bulacan State University today. So, once those games do pan out, maybe one team won't be undefeated anymore. But who knows, yeah, as we move on throughout the day.
Yeah, but of course, to all our viewers from the LVL, let's give them a bit of an idea of what is basically Adamson University's history, because this is a team basically that came off from the LCL very fresh off, but they were actually usually at the top of the ladder. It's just that during this most recent term, before transitioning to the LVL, they actually failed to qualify for top 4, losing out to DLSU, FEU, PUP, and University of Caloocan City. So I think that's an interesting indication as to where they might stand heading into the LVL as they kind of face the best of the best now. I'm wondering if this will be the same case, if they could just rise from, maybe hopefully climb upward a bit more, or will they kind of fly still in the mid-range?
Yeah, I think malaking factor yung hindi sila strangers sa collegiate esports headed into the LVL. Of course, making the jump can be a big move for some players especially, pero given that yun nga, meron silang experience, I don't think they'll be pressured facing this competition.
Hopefully. And I mean, from what I've heard from Adamson University is these guys. The great thing about this is yung roster nila ngayon. Kasi pagdating sa Adamson, sila yung university na pagdating ng LCL, napakaraming teams na gusto mag-represent. Yeah, napakarami nilang players. Like every single time, I can think of an LCL na hindi sila nagkakaroon ng tinatawag nating school qualifiers. Yun kasi yung parang inter-school muna, yung sa loob muna ng school nila bago magkaroon ng talagang qualifiers between yung different universities and colleges na magdedetermine na magiging top 8 ng LCL per term. So, this time around though, ang naging process ng pagbuo ng roster nila is they kind of utilized yung kung sino yung magaling talaga sa naging LCL team nila, and then they mixed in yung mga ibang players na nakita nilang malakas from the other teams na nagko-compete dun sa school qualifiers na. So parang you have a super Adamson University team that's entering the LVL, but whether or not that will translate into having a great run overall in the Varsity League, that's something that's still yet to be seen.
Yeah, yun nga. Yun din yung tanong ko sa sarili ko, Arctic, is whether or not that fact na nag-mesh nga yung best players sa school nila to represent Adamson University in this LVL, will it help them have that great performance like you mentioned? And I think since they have 3 games today, masasagot karamihan ng mga tanong natin ngayon.
I mean, we've actually worked on their conference together, Chisto,
we did.
LCL Metro West term. So, from what you've seen, because we're seeing a number of those players nga gaya ng nasabi ko na mag-LVL na ngayon, who do you kind of look forward to seeing from ADU perform heading into this LVL?
Honestly, kasi may iba sa players na nakakalaro ko whenever I play ranked. Whenever I play solo queue, nakakalaro ko yung ibang players ng Penguin Authority, and yung top laner nila si Shiro. Siya yung madalas na nakakasabay ko, and he's been experimenting with these very, very unusual picks in the top lane. So excited ako whether or not he'll bring it out dito sa LVL. Kasi actually, last night, I got to play and told him, itago mo na yung pick na yan. Kasi kapag napansin nila sa account mo, baka i-ban sa...
That's true.
Yeah, so, it's a secret pick. I will tell though, pag champ select, kung ano yung pick na yun. Para baka marinig ng ibang team. Baka nag-leak ako ng info. But yeah, I've ran into these players in solo queue and they're really, really good.
So I guess we'll see. I mean, Chisto pretty much vouching for them as far as performance in ranked. Hopefully that translates into the LVL a little bit more better. I'm looking forward to seeing those interesting picks if we do get the opportunity to see them today. I mean, with 3 games, who knows? There's a lot of room to do just that. And, you know, it kind of shakes things up if players tend to be a bit more creative pagdating sa gusto nilang piliin dito sa LVL natin. And we've seen a few of those interesting picks. I mean, MCL was a little bit more on the experimental side. In all fairness to them, kudos to them nung week 1 natin. Didn't work out in some instances, did for others. So, we'll just have to see. So, that's Adamson University. Meanwhile, FEU-IT, gaya nga nang nasabi natin, sila yung team na ang laki ng momentum nila. First 2 games, boom, 2-0. And from the feedback that I got from the players, na yun nga raw talaga na yung impact na iba talaga yung environment ng team nila ngayon, mas collaborative na kapag merong mga shortcomings yung players, ina-address agad and there's no hard feelings. And I think that's such a big thing to have when you're working with a team. I mean, based on experience nating dalawa, having players that aren't really as receptive to criticism can be complicated.
I mean, coming from a coaching background, working with a lot of players, alam ko yung feeling na kapag meron ka isang player na medyo stubborn, yung ayaw talaga makinig.
Yes.
Medyo masisira talaga yung team environment nyo. And like Arctic mentioned earlier, it really helps that FIT has changed that dynamic. Now it's a much more healthier environment for the players. And pinapakita nga nung performances nila, but hopefully they will stay consistent, because I think yun din yung isa sa tanong. You can start off strong, but if you don't finish well, it really doesn't matter the way you started.
And it's interesting because if you're gonna look at FEU-IT, I think they pretty much proven that nung nakalaman kasi nila yung mga medyo okay, since saktong nasa middle sila ng top 7 nila, they faced a top 3 team and they faced a team that was part of the triple tie that we had towards the end of the last term. So at least they've proven okay, they could potentially contend for a higher spot in the playoffs. Pero kung hindi ako nagkakamali, one of the games that they'll be having is against TUP ata. So I think that will be a better gauge as to where they stand if they could climb the ladder a bit more this LVL term.
Yeah, I think until FIT faces USD, for me personally, I don't think I can really gauge how good they are, because as far as the competition in LVL, I think USD is definitely at the top. So until a team faces them and shows what they can do against a top tier team, I really won't have that much high of an expectation of them.
Actually, that's interesting that you mentioned that, because with the new format that we have By the way, guys, to those of you that just tuned into the LVL, we're currently running a single round robin at this point. So, unlike yung previous term natin na dalawang beses magkakatapat yung mga teams, this time, isang beses lang. You only have that one shot. So, given that opportunity, at the back of my mind, I'm wondering, is there even a team that could get a swipe off of UST in the group stage? That's a bit tricky to gauge.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it can happen. If there was a time for it to happen, this would be the best opportunity for the teams to try and at least upset UST for a game. But yeah, I'm kind of sad na isang beses lang sila maghaharap during the group stages. I would have hoped that at least they face each other twice so that once a team loses to a certain team, they can adjust for the next match. But yeah, single round robin muna tayo. Maybe sa playoffs we meet sila.
Could be. Yeah. And I mean, with this change, by the way, it's a good thing you mentioned that. Para sa mga nagtataka, ba't nga ba tayo may mga changes ngayon sa ating format? Because we boosted our number of teams for the LVL from just 7 last term, naging 10 na. So, it's a great thing to see na a lot of the universities and schools are really starting to pick up on League of Legends being a varsity esport talaga for all our collegiate talents out there. So it's a great opportunity, and from what I hear, there's actually a lot of universities and schools na interested talaga. It's just that, of course, the difference with LC and LVL is there's a process that you have to go through before you could actually be able to compete in the LVL. So,
kailangan mo daanan si Commissioner.
Yes.
Kailangan ma-approve ka muna ni Brian bago ka makapasok sa LVL. Pero
shoutouts kay Commissioner Crazy Apple.
But yeah, of course, LVL, it's great for collegiate esports as well. It shows you how big of a thing esports is really, and pinapakita niya yung growth niya, especially for semi-pro scene.
So hopefully we have a lot more. I wonder if we can accommodate a lot more schools actually. We'll see in the future. I mean, I'm very optimistic about the future of LVL. Baka magkaroon pa tayo nung tipong may division pa between teams leading up to a playoffs. Who knows? There's a lot that can happen, to be honest.
Looking at LCL, sobrang dami nilang schools na pinapasok nun. But LVL is a different story. Maybe in the future, I mean, it has been very successful so far. I mean, we are expanding, we are getting bigger, but I do believe we are going to head into the drafting phase pretty soon, guys. So, hindi na matagal yung kailangan nyo antayin.
Yes.
I think we're gonna head straight into it. It's FEU-IT on the blue side, facing off against Adamson University on the red side, making their LVL debut. Tingnan natin anong balak nilang alisin dito sa banning phase.
Interesting. From what I managed to hear from the coach of FEU-IT, the tricky part here is that unlike yung ibang teams na may history ng pagbabasehan in the LVL particularly, Adamson University, given that they have a few shakeups to their roster, there's only so much he can do to try to scout out what Adamson University is capable of. Pero I guess we'll just have to see how far they could reach into that intel.
Yeah, and guys, kung nagtataka kayo bakit walang first ban itong FEU-IT Tamaraos, it's because they were late for the venue and they have been penalized by the commissioner, losing one ban here. So they only get to ban 2 champions, denying the Z targeted at GC123 and the Lee Sin from Prodigy. But looking at what has been picked up here so far, Trundle, Morgana, and Ezreal the Hover locked in actually for Itamaras.
So we have those 3 champions. Morgana has been a bit of a favorite in the LVL lately. I mean, Bulacan State University has found success on that support during their first week.
Wait. This is the pick I was talking about. If Penguin Authority locked this mundo, I'm so happy. I'm sobrang saya ko na nilock in nila tong mundo na to. This is the pick that I was saying that Chiro kept playing in my solo queue games, and so far I don't remember us losing. So much front line here for Adamson University Penguin Authority. Tignan mo yung tank line. There's Alistair sa Giovanni Mundo. It's gonna be extremely difficult for an Ezreal to punch through all of that tankiness. He does have the help of the Trundle, but the Trundle can only subjugate one target, so it's still a tough task for FEU-IT. They need something that can shred tanks a bit more. Corki is actually a great pickup to round out their comp. Now, Penguin Authority, they need a mid laner that can match the Corki. Oriana is an okay matchup in my opinion. This locked in. So Adamson Penguin Authority going for a heavy team fight oriented comp here, whereas FEU-IT looks like they're gonna want to try and win through the mid game, and while they're stronger before the team fight comp of Adamson scales, they're gonna try to win fights while they are at a much more powerful position.
That's a lot of beefiness that Adamson University has, and I think until such time that FEU-IT's primary carries can build up on the necessary items to shred through that armor, it's going to be a tricky task for them until they reach that point in the game. Hopefully, they do have a better transition to that, especially in the earlier phases of the game, given that we are seeing a Sejuani fielded out for Adamson University. So a little bit more of impact in getting those sets up in comparison to a Trundle, let's say, for FEU-IT.
Yeah, of course, the value of the Trundle for FEU-IT is different compared to Sejuani. Sejuani, huge for team fights, huge frontline, whereas the Trundle, his value really comes from the use of his ultimate. The ability to shred these tanks with the Subjugate will help the Ezreal and the Corki deal a bit more damage.
Whew. So there you have it, guys. With those two compositions locked in, I mean, for you, Chiso, from a coach's perspective, who are you kind of favoring in this game right here? Just purely based off these picks that we have. Let's kind of discount the team history a bit, just by textbook.
I honestly prefer the team fight comp. I think towards the late game, it will really favor Adamson University if it's a full-on 6 items. This is the style I would go for if I was coaching a team. But yeah, so I'm looking at Adamson here to possibly try and extend the game, and once they're at the point of power, try to take the fight to FIT.
Oh man. Meanwhile, with that power that Adamson University has, what's the saving grace here for FIT, given the circumstance that if we do reach that late game, Adamson having that heavier team fight potential, like what do they need to accomplish to at least not need to struggle towards that later part?
I mean, FIT's champions have more advantages towards the earlier stages, so they're gonna want to fight early, not let Adamson group up and just try to get some pick-offs with the Morgana, with the Corki damage. And yeah, if FIT do get a manageable lead in the early game, I think they'll be in a good position to win. It's just they can't let Adamson get to that late game point where they can full-on 5v5 them.
So there you have it, guys. We have both sides locking in. Adamson University going to be taking the stage in their debut in the LoL Varsity League. We'll find out in just a bit sino ang magwawagi. Will FEU-IT continue to build up on their winning streak, or will Adamson University have the best debut ever by upsetting just that? Of course, para sa manonood natin, let us know kung ano rin yung comments nyo based sa ating comment section sa Facebook Live. Meron din tayo sa gaming.youtube.com/pagegarena/live. Minsan, nakikiusyoso rin kaming caster sa chat minsan. Nitong recent week 1, medyo hindi kasi busy din eh.
Yeah, I was quite a busy week. I know you, Arctic, have been busy working around with some stuff.
Yeah, well, some big stuff happening in esports soon. If you guys are following me on our page, medyo nagdo-drop po rin ako ng hints every now and then. Really excited for what we have up ahead, especially even for the LVL. I mean, even though UST, lots of people expecting that they could get a back-to-back champion, I would love to see a potential underdog to potentially upset just that, but we'll have to see.
I mean, statistically, there are more chances for UST to lose now since there are more competition. More competitors means that there's more teams for them to face potentially. So yeah, who knows? Maybe somebody can upset them. But going back to this game between FIT and Adamson University, FIT coming off from a strong week 1, Adamson trying to make a great debut. It's just these teams have a lot to fight for.
Oh yeah. And actually, you know what? What I recall is during the previous week 1, napag-usapan natin yung mga personal rankings natin. Kakagaling lang natin ng week 1, Chisto. So, are there any changes, switcheroos to who you have in your top 4 so far?
Top 4 hindi. Pero definitely umangat yung FIT.
Okay.
After week 1, they definitely went up my personal top ranking of top 10.
Not penetrating top 4 just yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Di pa. Ikaw ba, Arctic?
Same. I mean, like, FIT was kind of in the middle part, but they still hold a place in the middle part, but a little bit higher, near penetrating my own personal top 4. So, ayun na nga po mga kaibigan, we have the rosters locked. And be sure to utilize our hashtags, by the way, for FEU-IT, kung sila ang sinusuportahan nyo, hashtag FITWin tayo mga kaibigan. And of course, for Adamson University, it's gonna be hashtag ADUWin. Siyempre sa mga taga-Adamson dyan na nanonood ng LVL natin, be sure na supportahan ang school nyo sa kanilang debut dito sa LVL. And hopefully, we see a great next few weeks ahead for them.
Yeah, and just to recap these drafts, FEU-IT Tamaraos, their comp spikes early once they hit these power spikes. The Trinity Force on both the Corki and the Ezreal. Dun nila kailangan simulan labanan tong Adamson University, because if this goes full on towards the late game, it's gonna be incredibly difficult to punch through the front line that Penguin Authority has here.
I'm all about penguins.
True, that's actually very, very true.
Now that I realize.
Kung sinusundan niyo si Arctic sa social media, ang tawag, what do you call your fan? Penguin fam?
Yeah.
He refers to his followers as penguins.
So
He's the head penguin.
yeah, no bias to Adamson University, of course, though, but maybe just a little bit because of the name. But speaking of Adamson University, I just recalled, shout out rin nga pala sa manager nila, si Percy, who's actually did a really good job for the team ng LCL days. Hopefully, they have a great time here in the LVL as well. I'm looking forward to if that could actually help translate the team to performing better heading into the LVL. And I'm all about these new teams, coming in to upset the teams that performed well during the previous LVL term, personally.
Interesting choice there. But it looks like we are going to head straight into Summoner's Rift for Game 1 of the week. Of the second week of LVL. It's FEU-IT on the blue side facing off against Adamson University on the red side.
Whew. Looks like we're going to be heading into the action. I'm getting chills with this matchup because there's a lot of stake for both sides here. ADU hoping to at least have a better foot in the door for the LVL. Meanwhile, FEU-IT, syempre, mas gusto nila na they'd build up on the momentum, just continue that undefeated streak that they have right now.
So, are we assuming na kwarto yung LVL na kailangan mo dumaan sa pinto para pumasok?
Yeah, it's room 1, room 2, room 3 until you reach the final boss at the end.
Interesting. It's an interesting perspective. And looking at the choices here, Rindu's not teleport Ezreal, unlike we saw in MSI. Very I think it's been rising up in popularity. We saw this from Kingzone, where the Ezreal would go teleport, try to allow his support to roam more, but looks like they won't be pulling those shenanigans for this game. Just standard summoner spells for majority of the lineup.
Yeah, just gonna play a little bit more safer here. So, looking at both sides, though, Adamson University proactive vision already right off the bat onto their blue side, just in case XJ has any funny ideas.
Yeah, it's actually interesting that they decided to ward up that blue side. It does make them susceptible to earlier ganks. Let's see though where the Trundle decides to go. He did start on his red buff, so yung signal dun is he will end up towards the top side of the map after he does his clear. Whereas the Sejuani will end towards the bottom side.
Now that I realize, I think this is the first time we're seeing Rindo for FEU-IT, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it?
No, he played last week.
He did?
Yeah, he played Kaisa, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. And so many teams, so many players that we have this time around. I can barely keep up with all these players. But anyways, let's check out what's happening here on the map so far.
You know, what I can tell you though, Arctic, it's the first time for all 5 Adamson players.
Yes, thank you, Chista. Thank you.
I mean, sobrang obvious, pero it's the first time for all of them.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give you that. In the LVL, that is. But still, looks like Rindo and Chai getting a good push in onto Simone and Cadenza, but Prodigy is coming in from within the vicinity, trying to go for a chase right here. Gonna try to lock down Rindo, getting the slow onto him. That's gonna be the arcane shift out of there, and looks like FEU-IT will escape just fine, if anything unscathed in fact.
Yeah, not much burn there. Sobrang ganda ng gamit ng Black Shield. Really denies the amount of engage that Adamson can do. So great timing there, and wisely enough, Chai actually took Black Shield level 2 because normally Morganas would go with the W and Q for more CC. So great, nicely done there.
I'm wondering though, so far so good for FEU-IT in all fairness, especially for Set and Rindo, because what I'm really looking forward to here is whether or not they'll be allowed the room to even build up on items to penetrate all that tankiness in the later parts of this game. So I think it'll really depend on not just how these lane matchups go, but how Prodigy can influence these lanes as it goes along.
Yeah, not just that. Speaking of tanks in the late game, let's talk about this Mundo pick that we see on our screens right now. Mundo, there was a buff to him for patch 8.9. The health regen on his ultimate numbers were raised quite a bit here. So once he gets ranked here in that ultimate, he's gonna be an extremely difficult tank to kill. So yeah, gaya na sinabi ko earlier, late game team fighting specifically is the key here for Adamson University.
And okay, so with what's happening here in the mid lane, GC actually still looking pretty healthy, a little bit lower in form of the mana spectrum, but then again, Set has to keep his distance a bit here, has taken a few shots here from ADU's mid laner.
I mean, Arctic, kung titignan mo tong mid lane, it's basically a farm lane for both these champions. Unless dumating either jungler, I don't think magkakaroon ng kill pressure yung dalawang champion yan sa isa't isa. It's gonna be basically an evened out lane where both champions will just be happy to stay back, get their farm, and just become monsters when it comes to team fights.
Ooh, it's like they're gonna have a little bit of a scuffle between Shira and Arving. But then again, not really expecting that much from these two. I mean, it's an Ornn and a Mundo that we're looking at here.
There's a bit of a pause. Okay, was resumed. Tricky. It's very odd, but
Okay.
yeah, looks like these champions, gaya nga na sinabi mo, mukhang hindi magkakapatayan tong dalawang to kagad.
Okay.
Okay, now we have an
Round
actual
two.
pause.
Yep, I don't think this is gonna resume anytime soon. So,
Okay, we just got word. Sinabi ni Commissioner sa atin, there are some technical difficulties from the PC. I think nag-shutdown yata yung PC. So, just a quick
Yeah.
reboot and makakabalik na tayo sa game. Quite unfortunate, especially for these teams. You're gonna want to start smoothly, but it's unavoidable, really.
yes, kalma ka lang guys. Kalma lang kayo. We'll be getting into the game in just a bit. So, syempre, let's go ahead and talk about kung ano nangyari so far. Barely anything actually because we have
Actually,
seen
wala
those
pa
bigger
nangyayari.
scuffles.
Meron lang isang gank bot lane and we're gonna practically shut down the entire gank with just the one use of Black Shield. Pero, yeah, I don't think there's much to digest, honestly.
Not really, just yeah.
Honestly,
yeah.
nothing-
Only a few minutes into the
yeah.
game, guys. So, kayo, syempre, just continue to...
Kayo ba ano
Siya-
nangyari doon?
Yeah, kayo, may nakita ba kayong kakaiba na baka mamaya may third eye pala kayo na hindi namin napansin
Yeah, I
dito sa
mean,
caster desk?
Maski kami ni Arctic, di namin napapansin lahat pagdating
Yes.
dun sa game. Pero, honestly, Arctic, meron ba tayong hindi na to, meron ba tayong hindi nakita nangyari sa game na yun?
Unless there's some kind of hidden mechanic na hindi natin alam. I think we got everything covered, Chisto.
Yeah.
Goods naman tayo, goods.
Pinakita naman ng observers dati. Good job, observers.
Thank you, guys.
Good job.
Shout out to all the production. But anyways, let's go back to talking about what we have ahead for today.
Oh, yeah.
So, or at least within the next few weeks. Kasi kung nagka-count yung mga audience natin na kung ilang teams na yung nakapaglaro sa LVL, including Adamson University, it's only 9 teams actually that have managed to play out games. So, that one team that we're missing is of course De La Salle University.
And gusto ko na binanggit mo yung DLSU kasi alam nila lahat dito to. Ang sa list ko ng top 10, ang nilagay ko sa top 1 ko is DLSU kasi I honestly think na sila yung may kayang tumapat sa USD dito. But it's just me personally, until they actually play, baka magbago pa yun. But right now, DLSU talaga para sa akin top 1.
Based on expectation. In all fairness naman, may basis rin naman kasi yung expectation ni Chisto na DLSU coming in with a very strong roster. Not to mention sila yung nag-champion dun sa Metro West Conference nila last term. They were actually in the same conference as Adamson University. So I think that's a pretty good telltale sign of where they could potentially rank in the LVL. Without a doubt, same. Actually, they're in my top 4. Could potentially contend with UST in the top 2.
Actually, feeling ko pare-parehas lang tayong top 4 pero magkakaiba yung rankings mismo.
Yeah.
We all basically have a top, the same top 4 schools. It's just jumbled sila in terms kung sino yung top 1.
I think you're the only one that had DLSU sa
Yes.
first spot. Because most of us majority had UST at the top spot.
To be fair, I haven't been on point with my predictions in the games either.
Oo nga pala no, because a little bit of a background sa nangyayari dito sa studio. Meron kaming whiteboard dito and si Chisto, he has his own personal predictions per day. So, nakapag week 2 ka na ba? Hindi ko pa na-check if may week 2
Nilagay
predictions
ko na yung
ka na eh.
predictions ko for week 2 pero for week 1, I was 4 out of 8 games.
Ooh, okay.
And part of the reason was FIT really played well.
So, like, both games for FIT, you expected that they were gonna be upsets?
I didn't... No. I predicted that their opponents would win. Just from the fact, looking at FIT's performance from previous term, but moving into week 1, they really messed up our predictions kasi sobrang galing na naging performance nila and hopefully they can keep it consistent because that's really the key when you're in a competitive environment.
Well, if it helps you, Chisto, I got to talk to their coach earlier. Like I mentioned earlier during the game, na-mention ko nga pala to. Pero one of the things that they mentioned kasi na which results to these better games that we're seeing from them is, aside from yung collaboration factor na na-mention ko, ang isa rin raw na na-improve sa kanila is yung communication rin nila as a team. And I think it's because of the new environment that they have right now na mas komportable na sila sa isa't isa. So, it definitely positively impacts communication as well kasi if you have that environment na yung nagkakasamaan kayo ng loob, for example, or yung nahihiya
really
kayong mag-speak up, then syempre there's not really as much development. But if your communication is much more open, then syempre almost every single part in the game you wouldn't be afraid or you wouldn't hesitate to give input and collaborate amongst each other. And I think it really showed naman during the first week na it was a different FEU-IT that I was witnessing.
Yeah, gusto ko yung sinabi mo about communication. I think that's really one of the largest factors when it comes to competitive League of Legends. If you aren't communicating with the rest of your team, kung hindi kayo magkakasundo sa kung anong gagawin, magpapakita talaga sa laro nyo yun eh. You won't be able to gain advantages if you don't have the proper communication. So, yeah, the step up in communication for FIT has really shown that it produces results.
And I think one way our players can dodge if communication is an issue, if a full minute goes by during your game na walang nagsasalita, there's something wrong in my opinion.
Yeah, actually, I badgered. You remember when I was coaching Emperor?
Yeah.
There was one player who was super stubborn when it came to talking in game.
Yes.
I literally told him, if you don't talk, you're a bad player. And a few weeks passed, and he became the most talkative guy on the team.
And it helped, in all fairness.
Good stuff happened. Yun nga. So, communication, very important. But if you guys are just tuning in, kung kakapasok nyo lang dito sa stream, we are currently paused for the game. Meron technical difficulties from the side of FIT. Hopefully, daw maayos na.
Hopefully. So, of course, all our players are playing live dito sa ating Garena headquarters. Just right behind us, actually. Behind these blue walls that we have here.
Are they
blue walls?
Blue. kung may pakita kayo ng behind the scenes, malalaman nyo kung anong kulay talaga yan.
If you watch Chisto's vlogs actually from the past. Ayun.
No. Pero yan.
You don't vlog anymore, do you?
Nawala yung editor ko eh.
Ayan guys, kung may volunteer editors dyan na gustong tumulong kay Chisto sa kanyang vlogging life, feel free to message him. Facebook.com/ChistoCast ba yung ano mo? Or may custom handle
no,
sa Facebook mo?
Facebook.com/Chisto with 4 O's.
So nga pala. And then the actual page name is ChistoCast. Yeah, without a space. Okay. So may sa promotion bigla ng Facebook page.
Hindi ko gusto i-advertise yung sarili ko. Hindi ganun kakapal yung mukha ko na unless i-flash on screen.
Yeah, in blinking, follow me, facebook.com/Chisto.
But yeah, hopefully we get back to the game very soon.
I mean, from what feedback that we got, they're already working on it. Mukhang inaayos na, ready to log back into the game in just a teeny tiny bit. So, nonetheless, let's talk more about what happened during the previous week kasi it's good context into what's happening during day 2. So, obviously, UST only one game, and the opening game, in fact, against TUP. So, mini rematch. UST showing that pretty much at the top of their prime. But then again, you also have to take into account yung deficiencies ng TUP as far as who they lost. I promise I won't talk about the 2 players that they lost anymore. But let's go ahead and talk about what positive did happen for TUP against AMA, because I feel like that was a game that they really managed to show yung still they could potentially be a contender.
Yeah, I think TUP nag-warm up lang sila nung game nila laban sa UST, pero nung nakaharap na nila yung AMA, very clear na yung gusto nilang gawin. They wanted to start fights, they wanted to skirmish with you, and with the picks that they had the Nautilus and the Wukong as well. Both these champions could easily start fights against AMA. It looks like hindi lang nakasabay yung AMA laban sa TUP. Once these fights began happening, TUP just absolutely crushed them.
And heading into that next game, so we have the TUP AMA. And what do you feel was the struggle with these guys? Because this is the only team that we have na maintain yung full 5-man main roster nila. So a lot of expectation actually coming in from them because they were the players na they're on the younger side but have lots of potential but didn't translate during week 1.
Yeah, alam mo, taas din yung expectation ko for AMA nung week 1. Sila yung isa sa teams na we consider to be in our top 4 because of their previous term performance and the fact that na-maintain nila yung roster nila, meaning yung synergy nandun pa rin, yung preparation, it won't be as hard as other teams bringing in new players. So yeah, it was a bit disappointing for us to see the way that they struggled during week 1, but marami pang linggo para makabawi itong AMA.
Still have roughly 7 games to go. So
kaya nila yan.
Yeah, still a lot more. And in all fairness, like they braved the worst because yun nga yung naging flow ng games natin for week 1 is talagang from top to bottom ng previous tournament. So hopefully, they'll find a bit more success against the other teams. But syempre, they still have to take into account na if they do make playoffs, they still have to contend with those bigger names ulit if they want to potentially go for a champion title this LVL term. So next AMA, of course, napag-usapan naman natin yung FEU-IT into quite a bit of depth since sila yung game natin ngayon. So I think it's safe to say that we could transition to fast forward to the FEU versus UPD game that we had. So how are you feeling about UPD this term?
I feel like UPD can definitely improve. I feel like considering their performance last term, there's only one direction they can go, and that's up. So hopefully, as the weeks go by, kaya ng UPD na mag-perform better than last term.
I'd have to agree with you. I mean, what I like about UPD is that they actually have pretty good players on their roster naman, and I highly doubt na based sa mood nung nakausap ko yung players nila, meron silang mga issues that other teams would have when it comes to communication, when it comes to attitudes. Everybody seems to be... What's the word I'm looking for?
Chill?
Open, chill, yes.
Open. Okay.
Open to criticism if ever there is any. I mean, they have a coach for that matter. So, having worked with Mayhem during the previous term, I'd be surprised if any of these players wouldn't be open to criticism at this point. So, I think overall, hopefully, it translates to better things for them. I have high hopes for them.
Yeah, and speaking of UPD, gaya nakita nyo sa screen nyo just now, they actually have 3 games today on our schedule. So, sana umangat sila sa standings with these 3 games today.
Yeah, hopefully. So, next to UPD, we have iAcademy first. Let's do iAcademy first. So, another struggle for them, entering the LVL with a 0-2 start. And you also have to take into account that the 2 teams that they did manage to face are the teams that they share the triple tie with. Was it the triple tie? Oh, no, Bulacan State University was the other one, I think.
Our memory isn't as great.
Yeah.
We'll have to properly recap this. But speaking of IAC, their game today, I saw the schedule. They're actually facing off against UST today.
Oh.
So,
I would love to see if iAcademy, can just suddenly, out of the blue, take a game against UST. That would be the game that people would talk about.
Yeah, that would be us like, okay, we didn't expect this at all.
Yeah.
This is great.
Exactly.
That would be great. I mean, if things surprise us, I think that's really good.
I'd love to see defying
pag nagugulat tayo.
Exactly. And of course, we have MCL, who played the most games for our week 1. Total of 3 games, ending their day 1 win, 2 losses. So
yeah, kaso wala sila ngayon, which is kind of unlucky.
I think it's somewhat okay. I mean, after a 3-game opening week, it would be, at least they have that extra week to kind of figure out what went wrong in those 2 games that they did lose.
Yeah, pahinga muna sila.
Yeah, chill for a bit. And in all fairness, the tricky part kasi about teams that have 3 games right off the bat, first MCL, now we have Adamson University, is that since bago na yung format natin na single elimination round robin, less yung margin nila for error. Kasi with 3 games played, they only have 6 games to make the most of. And you have to take into account na MCL, for example, they are yet to face teams like TUP, UST. So there's a lot that they have to prep for if they want to at least make sure that they rake up enough wins to secure a slot in the playoffs.
Yeah, and hopefully these teams can perform consistently throughout the weeks to come. But yeah, going back, we are still paused for the game. We apologize for the technical difficulties. It's really quite unfortunate. And talking about yung mindset ng players, you're only around 5-7 minutes into the game, diba? Tapos, you're trying to build momentum, trying to get this early game rolling for you, and suddenly the game pauses. It could really mess up your mindset once you're in that game. It could really break your momentum in a sense.
So, I guess I wanted to talk about Bulacan State University, but for the meantime, since we're trying to resolve the issues, I guess we'll be taking a short break for the meantime, just so that we could check out what's going on behind the scenes as well. So,
yeah,
again,
lang kami.
Yes. So, Arctic again, with me is Chislo. This is the 2018 LVL Spring Term Group Stage. Kita-kits tayo in just a bit. Chill lang kayo, guys. We'll be right back.
There's a fire that burns inside. It's an instinct that never lies. The target's tattooed between our eyes. Stand and fight under the lights on the higher stage. A part of your life they can't take away. Just like the blood running through your veins. Everyone's watching through your eyes. There's only two options, win or die. Win or die. Win or die. It went from a spark to an open flame. Now destiny's calling out your name. So reply, so reply. There's a power that's underneath, and you can't see it till you believe. On the edge of infinity. Feel the rush under the lights on the higher stage. A part of your life they can't take away. Just like the blood running through your veins. Everyone's watching through your eyes. There's only two options, win or die. Win or die. Win or die. It went from a spark to an open flame. Now destiny's calling out your name. So reply, so reply. Ignite. It went from a spark to an open flame. Now destiny's calling out your name. So ignite, so ignite.
Okay guys, mukhang babalik na tayo diretso dito sa game. Naayos na yung technical difficulties na naharap ng players and the viewers kanina. So, hopefully hindi na maulit yun. Looking at mid lane now, it is Oriana versus Corky. And kung nakikinig kayo sa akin earlier, I did say na both these champions, masaya silang mag-farm lang dito sa mid and just scale towards a late game where team fighting, they both will be monsters in their own right.
Yeah, that Corky has to be a bit more careful though. Does not under any circumstances want to get ganked by Prodigy anytime soon, especially until such time that Sejuani hits level 6. Medyo maya-maya pa yun. Level 4 pa lang siya. We're only 5 minutes into the game. So, still a long way to go.
Yeah, gaya nga na sinabi natin kanina. Wala pa halos nangyari dito. So, yeah, hopefully, I've been saying hopefully quite a lot. I need to cut down on that. Yeah, talking about these teams, looking at the draft, quick recap lang for Adamson University. If this goes towards the late game, their team fighting is really, really good here because they have a massive front line and they have really great damage from their carries. As for FEU-IT, they don't want to let Adamson reach that point. Ayaw nilang paabutin towards the late game 5v5 yung Ado dito because they will be at a disadvantage.
Oh, meanwhile, looks like... Let's talk about this top lane a bit more because like you mentioned, if there's anyone that could actually give insight into Shiro's mundo, I feel like since you paced him a lot, this would be your time to... Like, how did it even work out for you, the times that you did get to play with Shiro?
Well, looking at yung items na meron siya ngayon, this is also the build he went when I got to play with him. The thing is here, Mundo's gonna hit that rank 3 ultimate. That's so much healing from his side. He's literally gonna go where he pleases. Pupuntahan lang niya kung saan niya gusto pumunta. And then we just fight everything and tank everything. And looking at FEU-IT's lineup, unless sa kanya mapunta yung subjugate ng Trundle, it's gonna be very difficult for both the Corki and the Ezreal to actually punch through this mundo.
Yeah, luckily though, I mean, as far as to deal with that healing, Shockwave though, onto set. We'll be able to back away though, but very low on mana. We'll have to make a recall. But yeah, as I was saying, ang medyo positive dito sa FEU-IT pag medyo bigger team fight na yung narating natin is luckily for Chai running the Ignite just to deal with a little bit of that healing from Shiro, but that's assuming that he does get that Ignite. Once it is down, that's the trickier part. They'll eventually need something to help deal with all that massive healing that Shiro will be able to do through that ultimate.
Yeah, I'm really waiting for those 5v5 fights once we head towards the later stages of the game. As for FEU-IT, knowing na mas mabilis mag-spike yung champion sa hawak nila, once the mid game comes, once both the Corki and Ezreal have completed their Trinity forces, that's when they want to begin fights here, and that's when you want Arfing to start grouping with them with this or use the engage from Call of the Forge God. Try to fight Adamson while they're still at their weak point.
We've hit a point wherein both junglers though currently at level 6 right now. Prodigy, naglinger lang siya dito sa bot lane, clearing out a few camps here and there, but I'm wondering what lane he'll try prioritizing here now that he has access to his ultimate.
Yeah, it looks like ganking hasn't been a priority for both junglers here, Arctic. Ayaw nilang apektuhan yung mga lanes just yet. Both of them have just been happy to clear their camps, and the early game has been fairly passive here from both teams.
Yeah, and it's interesting because for both sides here, you'd think, especially for FEU-IT, they try to make something of these first few minutes especially, but then again, I guess a good transition just so that they're guaranteed to build up towards items is a much welcome thing. Meanwhile, looks like FEU-IT, they're kind of backing away here right now, already under turret. Okay, so it looks like Dre just gonna restrain himself, gonna go straight to clearing out camps. Cadenza gonna take away that vision from FEU-IT. But Chai, of course, in exchange, dropping yet another equal ward, gonna clear that out as well.
Yeah, just all that work, all the poke taken. Napalitan ka agad yung ward though. Top lane is in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, Shiro taking quite a bit of a chunk, gonna exhaust his ultimate to be able to run his way out of there. GC spotting out Set here. Set gonna back away. Did get a few of those monsters though.
Yeah, Set has actually begun to play aggressively here on this court, even stealing away the enemy Raptor camp. So the CS difference is starting to get larger in the middle. Shockwave though.
Shockwave. Yeah, that's an interesting interaction right there. Set will be able to escape. GC tries to chase. Here comes Prodigy coming in. Shai gonna try to hold off Ring versus Adamson University. That's gonna be the hold. That's gonna be the stun. Cadenza taking so much damage. That's gonna be the flash away heal. It's gonna be popped up by Adamson University. Dre coming in from the back line right there. Getting a few bops onto Prodigy. First blood with that flash in. Cadenza might want to try to back away here. Gets a slow down. Gets the knockup. Will it be enough though? Double kill gonna go to that Trundle. That's gonna be a victory. Make that a 3 for nothing in favor of FEU-IT. More action in the top lane, in fact.
Yeah, already tatlong kill na pupunta dito sa FEU-IT across the map, and I think that will translate into the first dragon of the game going to their side. The Trundle there with the subjugate level 6 was huge, shredding a lot of the tankiness na hawak nung Sejuani, so that means Trundle picks up 2 kills for himself. FEU-IT, they pull the trigger and they pick up a lot of kills right off the bat.
Finally, 10 minutes into the game, that's the action I was looking for right there. And as you mentioned, Chiso, they get the bonus right there. Not only do they get all those skills, they also get Infernal Drake, quite the juicy Drake, if I do say so myself. Mountain is going to be the next up.
Juicy?
Yeah. That was the wrong adjective to use. Now
yeah, let's go ahead and look at the solo kill in the top lane. Shiro, I think you could have timed that flash better, man. I honestly think that once you wait for the redirect on the Call of the Forge, that's when you flash to try and dodge it. So, bit of a misplay right there. He's playing Mundo though.
Yeah, a bit more trickier. bit more on the trickier side. But nonetheless, that's going to be massive for FIT. And that's kind of what we were talking about right there, that it would have been much more ideal if they were the ones that kind of got things earlier on, just so that they could prevent that later part wherein it would be a little bit more difficult to shred through what Adamson University brings to the table with this composition.
Yeah, pero ang ganda rin nakikita natin galing sa FIT Arctica. You mentioned the win condition nila is they need to fight early when they're champions, when their picks are stronger compared to Adamson University. And nakita natin doon, their picks were hitting their power spikes earlier, and that's when they began starting fights against Adamson University. Now, Trundle has snuck up in the top lane. Shiro, remember, he does not have flash, and he's playing super aggressively here.
Yeah, he's just really going for it. Arvin gonna dash his way out of there, but Dre gonna join the fray to stop Shiro from further pursuit. Looks like he's on the run right now. He's generating quite a bit, but it's not gonna be enough as Dre gets the kill. He's now on a killing spree, ladies and gents.
Yeah, Oren, great acting right there. Sakto yung bait niya. It baited the Mundo to play super aggressively. Shiro was confident na kaya niyang makatakas because he had ultimate, but not respecting the fact that the Trundle could have been there. They went for a bit of chip damage onto the tower. I think they could have gotten more, but knowing that nag-roam na si JC from the mid lane, the top and jungle of FIT will just back off here.
Yeah, good restraint coming in from FIT. You also have to take note, they don't necessarily have vision towards that river side, but just the absence of GC as well as Prodigy not really showing himself on the map was sign enough for them to discipline themselves to back away for the meantime.
Yeah, and this early game is going heavily in the favor of FIT. Looking at the items na kompleto na for their champions, the Trinity Force already completed for this Corki. He'll be dealing massive amounts of damage. Compare mo yun sa build ni GC dito. Wala pa siyang core items. He's building towards what looks like a Luden's Echo to add more wave here. But I don't think that the Orianna can match the damage that Corki can dish out at this stage of the game.
Baka ito na yung maging oras na nakita natin ng earlier phases ng laro na Seth was actually in a bit of a struggle with GC just continuing to poke him back and forth with that ball. Pero now that we've reached a point where especially for the Scorky, getting the key item that he needs to become all the more potent, it's going to be a struggle for GC from here on out. He's taking quite a lot of damage. This is a different story from what we saw during the first 10 minutes of that game. Looks like Seth really wants in. He's going to get the kill onto GC. Cadenza, he's on the run. Prodigy trying to catch up, trying to help this Alistar. Looks like he will escape just fine, but that's going to be yet another kill into FIT's belt.
Yeah, and look at that, Arctic. Nung sinabi natin na this is the time, this is the... Oh my god, hold on, they want more!
Yeah, looks like Adamson University might have overextended right there. Prodigy going to be taking the bulk of just that as a result.
Yeah, and looking back, this is FIT playing towards their win conditions. Sinabi natin, kailangan nila lumabad when they are stronger than Adamson University. Corki, look at the Trinity Force damage. Walang sagot si GC dun sa ginawa sa kanya ng Corki. He was just forced to run away because he knew he wasn't going to be able to match the damage and the engage as well from the Ornn, helping secure more kills for their team. Just FIT just pulling the trigger over and over while they are stronger.
Man, this is not looking well for Adamson University. And the tricky part here is for FIT, what I gotta commend them with is not only are they on top of kills, pero every single opportunity na meron sila, they also start establishing control in terms of vision. Pero mukhang makakita tayo ng laban dito, mga kaibigan. Seth gonna be joining the fray. Simon already exhausting his ultimate, getting the root, but unfortunately that won't be enough as Seth just getting enough damage to take him down. Looks like that cow is gone for this world, as well as two members of Adamson University take a hit.
Yeah, it's already 8-0 in kills 15 minutes into the game in favor of FIT. They're really showing up after their week 1 performance. Tinutuloy lang nila yung artist.
Yeah.
Really continuing their momentum from the first week. And I think they also get the first tower of this game. Adamson University, they're gonna struggle right now because FIT just got so many resources to their side.
Yeah, and they're falling way behind in this game. Interesting though, I was expecting more turrets taken at this point, but nonetheless, looks like this top turret as well near its downfall. Looks like Shiro going to be able to help the turret out a bit, but with quite a slither, just one more boop from Arfing or any member that makes a rotation towards this top side at this point. That's pretty much a good done turret.
Yeah, and I think at this point, Arctic, it's safe to say that this will be an uphill battle for Adamson University. All of their lanes have fell behind. Their towers are falling down. The Dragon even went to the side of FIT, so unless Adamson can stall this out till they have enough strength to go for a full-on 5v5, FIT can really run away with this game as another binding did land. Cadenza will just pulverize the ground in his frustration.
Ooh. Meanwhile, looks like Rindo and Shai had made a rotation here towards the mid lane. I mean, with bot lane down, they've effectively managed to provide themselves a way for me to stick to that particular lane, granting them a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more reach with kung saan man sila kailangan rumisponde dito sa mapa. And that's going to be a turret down there. Unfortunately, Shiro not able to fend off that last wave that managed to push in.
Yeah, and the Mountain Drake being started here by FIT. Kita to ng Adamson na nangyayari, pero I don't think meron silang paraan na i-challenge ng Dragon na to. This will go over to FITI Camerals now. It'll help them take down towers even faster, especially sa setup nila dito, Arctic. We're gonna get to see a 1-3-1 where they put the Ornn and the Corki in a side lane with that double teleport where they just pressure Adamson University with the split push.
Oh man, this is becoming quite dire for Adamson University. This goal lead has been continuing to build up every other minute by the thousands.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, Dre coming in from the backline. Prodigy looks like gonna whiff that ultimate. Does manage to prevent Dre from pursuit. We're gonna go flash in for that kill. GZ is gonna be going down, but more action is happening towards the bot lane. Cadenza trying to run it up, but Set really intent on taking down. Lands that skill shot, getting the kill. So here comes Simone and Prodigy. They'll take no. Prodigy's ultimate is down. Won't be able to lock down Set. It looks like Set will be able to escape just fine, but look at the damage he's dealing onto Simone. In exchange, that Cyan reads the back away. Pronto, skill shot. Unfortunately not landing in. Set gonna go for the gutsy dive in. Unfortunately, damage won't be enough. That Sai is surviving with a slither of health. Prodigy going to go in for the vengeance skill set. He's trying to walk this out. Will releasing the first kill of the game for Adamson University. And yes, Sejuani will deal just that.
Yeah, I don't think Seth had any intention of trying to escape their Arctic. Laban lang siya ng laban doon. Simone was 1 HP away from going down. Even though Adamson were able to pick up their first kill of the game. Their mid lane tower went down, so that's definitely worth it.
Yeah, worth the trade indeed. 10-1 right now. And you have to take note, we're already at a point where in just early it was a 6K, now leading to a 10K lead, but are we going to be seeing a team fight right here? FIT slowly backing away, gonna jump themselves out of their Shine, not able to join the ride, but no, just fine.
Iniwan nila yung support.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what happens in every game, aren't they?
I thought you were going to lead to a Hugot right there, but...
No. I was going to relate it to League.
Oh, okay.
That happens every game.
Okay, so looks like Rift Herald going to be taken by FIT. This is going to be all the more scary for, at least for Adamson University as a point. Wait, how long they can last this out?
No, Prodigy actually stole it.
Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Okay.
I actually think Prodigy stole that with his smite.
Wow, I was not expecting that. So a little bit of a wasted effort for FIT in which case. So I guess a bit of breathing room for Adamson University though, but that's just one small victory from what mountain they do need to climb within these next few minutes.
Pulot kaya nila yung Rift Herald dito. It's still up. They're sending both Simone and... Oh, they're actually gonna get it.
Wow.
That's a big mental win for Adamson University because you were behind. Small misplays like that from FIT could give them chances to get back into this game. But still, uphill battle pa rin to para sa Adamson University. It is a positive though.
Yes.
That they are getting a few little advantages here and there. They need a lot more though.
Definitely a lot more. It's just one small victory. If anything, I'm not sure they'll be able to utilize it. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out what happened as far as that steal there.
Kaya bang i-slow-mo to? The moment the smite goes down. Woo! Oh, it's actually just casual. Okay. He put the ward over, and then he just smited it down.
Yeah, just like, oh! Boom.
Yeah.
Good timing.
Well played, well played.
Right place at the right time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speechless. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, we were expecting it to go over to FIT given that they are super ahead. Now, ang tanong, magagamit kaya ito ng Adamson because if all of your lanes are being pushed in, you really don't get that much value from the Rift Herald.
That's true, Chisto. We'll just have to see within these next few minutes. I mean, for Adamson University, they're playing around quite a deficit that, as we've been talking about earlier, ideally, a point in time that they would shine is the late game, but it wouldn't really matter if just by where they stand right now, isn't quite up to where they should be in the later parts.
Yeah, we're already looking at around the 10k gold lead here in favor of FIT. Now, looking at Seto, he already has 236 CS, only around 21 wins. That's a lot for a mid laner, honestly. So, that's majority of the lead that they have. Let's see though, can Adamson stall this long enough, Arctic? Because feeling ko talaga pag tumagal pa to, tapos umabot tayo sa mga situation kung saan 5v5 yung team fights, Adamson has a massive advantage.
Oh man. Meanwhile, looks like Adamson University, Baron is live right now, so I think this is something that they really need to take into account of. Vision-wise, still not quite within the extent I would, but then again, Kazenza was lingering towards the bottom side, so I think as much as possible, that support should really start establishing at least defensive vision if they couldn't really extend into that river.
Yeah, and now I'd like to take note of the items coming in for FEU-IT here. Knowing that they are that far ahead, look at Grindo. He's picked up a second tier of the Goddess here. Gonna build towards the Archangel Staff, which has been rising in popularity, especially for Ezreal. Gonna have even more mana to just constantly dish out these abilities. And gaya na sinabi, Marcus, Baron is definitely the thing that both teams are looking at right now. FEU, though, with the push that they have more options as far as where to lay down vision and really control the Baron area.
Oh man, so far from what we're seeing here, take note, Rift Herald is still on Shiro, but that's the tricky part. There's just no opportunity that we could see that would otherwise allow Adamson University that value off of having that buff. Oh, Shiro. Yautza Dark Binding is going to land right there. That's going to be all members of FEU-IT. Actually, just 4 members that try to go for it. Shiro will manage to make that escape, though. But still, that is a summoner down for him.
Yeah, that's Ignite from Chai traded for Shiro's Flash and his ultimate. So there's going to be this window where Mundo wouldn't be as tanky per se. FEU, though, ang tanong ko sa kanila, kailan nila sisimulan tong Baron na to? They're trying to bait out more abilities from Adamson University or bait somebody into face checking their Morgana. Is Baron being started here? I think Trundle is just clearing out vision. Baron is a massive possibility here for FEU-IT if they do choose to start it. Rift Herald has been summoned here. Oh, Baron has been started here by FEU-IT. It's at 5k health. Morgana trying to zone them away. Prodigy is here. Can he get another steal?
Oh man, this is gonna be it, guys. Adamson University, can they go for it? No, unfortunately, looks like Arping actually gonna get that last hit. Prodigy will be the first to go down, though. Looks like Adamson University, they're gonna have to disperse for now. Is Set gonna pursue, though, because Shiro and Cadenza are still lingering around this jungle. Looks like they're just gonna go for that Ren buff instead, but looks like Simone actually gonna get spotted out. Dre will manage to get the slow onto these members of Adamson University that are trying to flee for their lives right now. That's gonna be the lockdown onto Shiro. Shiro is trying to rock it out, goes around the pillar, but he's no longer near of this world. Looks like he does survive to tell the tale, though. In fact, get a kill onto Dre, overextending a bit there, but still that goes to say FEU-IT, they still have the Baron on their side, so still a big victory for them.
Yeah, that was a really close Baron take there. I saw that thing go down to 40 HP. It was actually the Ornn that secured it in the end, but still, Baron is on the side of FEU-IT. They have the Baron, they have a 12,000 gold lead, a Fed 40, a Fed Ezreal. Sobrang hirap pigilan ng push na to kung kayo yung Adamson University because they are just that far behind.
Oh, Seth looks like he's backing away for the meantime. Takeout inhibitor was taken down though by the rest of Adamson, or rather by the rest of FEU-IT that was pushing towards that bot lane. Meanwhile, Rift Herald is still pushing up top, but looks like Seth as well as Dre are on that right now.
Yeah, that's actually the Rift Herald.
In all fairness,
did a lot of damage to the tower, so that is a small positive for Adamson University, but I think the damage has been done here. FEU just gonna send this Corki top lane, and I don't see anyone being able to deal with Seth. I mean, he's just that fed on this Corki.
In all fairness to Adamson University, that was the most they could have made out of Rift Herald amidst all that fighting towards Baron, but looks like we're going to see another fight right here. That was a beautiful ultimate coming in from that Ornn. The rest of Adamson University, those health bars are dwindling really fast. Simone hitting in from the back line, but here comes Seth as well for the response. Looks like it's only Shiro that's alive and kicking for Adamson University. I don't think he's going to make it out of alive here, as 4 members of FEU-IT are intent on taking down that Mundo takedown flash is down for him. That's going to be the ace for FEU-IT.
Yeah, it took them not that long of a time, but in the end, they were able to ace Adamson University. Can they go for the end here? The death timers aren't that long as we are only 25 minutes into the game. I think FEU-IT will be happy to take mid inhibitor.
Man, the stars are aligning for the Itamerals right now. Even, I mean, they have the Baron buff right now. Look at those dragons taking as well, 2 mountains as well as an Inferno. That's just amplified damage across the board in terms of taking these objectives.
Yeah, they might try and go for the end here. There are super minions crashing from the bot lane. Look at the damage to the towers.
That's a turret right there. Is FID going to try to push it though? Ezreal is still far off here. It's set that's dishing a ton of the damage here in that front line. Looks like Call of the Fortress is coming. That's going to be the boop onto 3 members of Adamson University. Prodigy trying to deal from the front line, but still the damage is just real coming in from Set. Set is looking to try to finish this game while the rest of FIT is keeping the members of Adamson University at bay, and that will be the game. Congratulations, as FIT going to continue their winning streak in today's opening game for the LPL.
Yeah, congratulations to FIT picking up the first game of the day with a victory, continuing their momentum from week 1 Arctic. And I think it's safe to say that this game was very one-sided towards the FIT-I Tamara. It was a really dominant game for them. So if you're Adamson University now, it's just your first game. Kaya pa nilang bumawi later on today.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just have to see in a bit if that's something of feasibility. I mean, for Adamson especially, not the best start to their LVL journey, but they have 2 more games to make up for it in all fairness. But let's go ahead and talk about what went down in that game, because what I like about this is there was such a calm before the storm there, and then as soon as yeah, and then we had that pause. It was a long time coming, but as soon as FEU-IT pulled the trigger at the 10-minute mark, that's where things just spiraled out of control, where to a point where Adamson University just couldn't deal with that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that,
I think sinabi natin to na yung win condition ng FEU-IT is they need to fight Adamson before Adamson gets to scale towards the late game into those 5v5 fights. The moment that the Corki got his Trinity Force, nung nagka-spike at 2 items yung Ezreal, it was very difficult for Adamson to actually set anything up and go for engages because they've fallen so far behind, and they just weren't able to stall against a team that was snowballing way out of control.
And at the end of the day, I guess really worked out. I guess just very textbook game that we had in terms of living up to win conditions with the team comps, that both teams kind of had very different conditions. So, but still, FIT gonna be very happy about continuing their streak in the LVL.
Yeah, of course. FIT now 3-0, still undefeated. A lot of questions being answered by them, but yeah, if you're Adamson University, you still have another game coming up, I believe, against Bulacan State University, so that is coming up next. I think that sort of gives a wrap on it.
So there you have it, guys. That was just game 1. Still a lot of games, 7 days left for you guys. It's going to be some intense LVL action on a beautiful Sunday during Mother's Day. But of course, we're going to be taking a quick break. We bring you casters on Arctic County Service. With me is Chisto. This is the 2018 Low Varsity League Spring Term Group Stage. We'll see you guys for game number 2. Oh man, this is gonna be it, guys. Adamson University, can they go for it? No, unfortunately, looks like Arping actually gonna get that last hit. Prodigy will be the first to go down, though. Looks like Adamson University, they're gonna have to disperse for now. Is Set gonna pursue, though, because Shiro and Cadenza are still trying to flee for their lives right now. That's gonna be the lockdown onto Shiro. Shiro is trying to rock it out, goes around the pillar, but he's no longer near of this world. Looks like he does survive to tell the tale, though. In fact, get a kill onto Dre, overextending a bit there. Those health bars are dwindling really, really fast. Someone hitting in from the backlight, but here comes Set as well for the response. Looks like it's only Shiro that's alive and kicking for Adamson University. I don't think he's going to make it out of alive here, as 4 members of FIT are intent on taking down that Mundo takeout flash is down for him. That's going to be the ace for FIT.
Yeah, it took the... Look at the damage to the towers.
That's a turret right there. Is FIT going to try to push it, though? Ezreal is still far off here. It's Set that's dishing a ton of the damage here in that front line. Looks like Call of the Fortress is coming. That's going to be the boop onto 3 members of Adamson University. Prodigy trying to deal from the front line, but still the damage is just real coming in from Set. Set is looking to try to finish this game while the rest of FIT is keeping the members of Adamson University at bay, and that will be the game. Congratulations, as FIT going to continue their winning streak in today's opening game for the LPL.